I was laying flooring for my SIL's new kitchen, barely done when she said, "You missed a spot. Maybe you're too dumb for real work." My wife agreed. I looked down at my cracked hands, then at the trash bag of my clothes by the door. That night, I left her a folder with the truth inside. When she opened it, I'm a 42-year-old guy named Ron. I live in Springfield, Missouri. Been married for 12 years to a woman named Melissa. We don't have kids. We've got a dog, Duke. I thought we were okay. Not perfect, but good enough to grow old together. I work in construction. I've been doing it since I dropped out of high school at 17. I know it's not flashy. My hands are cracked and swollen half the time, and I've got a bad back from hauling materials. But it's honest work. Pays the bills. I don't cheat people. I put in the hours, I come home. I take care of what's mine. Melissa came from money. Not rich, but her parents drove new cars and went on ski trips when she was a kid. They always looked down on me, but she didn't seem to care at first. When we first got married, she said I made her feel safe. Said I was steady. Real. She told me I grounded her. Her sister Brooke? Total opposite. She married a dentist named Todd. One of those smug, golf-playing types. Always posting family goals, crap online. They've got 2 kids, a brand new kitchen, and a house so clean it looks staged. Everything about them looks like it belongs in a damn magazine. 3 months ago, Brooke and Todd decided to redo their kitchen floor. Brooke made it sound like a big project. Fancy materials, herringbone layout, blah blah blah. She asked Melissa if I could do it. It'd mean a lot, Melissa said. You're the best person for the job. I told her I had a full schedule already, but she kept pushing. She said I never do anything for her family, that it'd help them save money. So I agreed, even though I had to work weekends. Even though my knees were already killing me, I started the job on a Friday night. Every day after work, I drive straight to their place. Cut old tile, sanded the subfloor, re-leveled it by hand. Took 2 weeks, and I didn't get a damn cent. They had me doing contractor-level work for free. The last day, I stayed until almost 10 at night finishing the final row of hardwood. That pattern was a nightmare. Every plank had to be lined up just right. My fingers were bleeding through the gloves. I remember standing up, looking at my work, thinking, damn, it came out clean. Brooke came in holding a wine glass and scrolled through her phone like she didn't even notice me. Then she looked down at the floor and said, real slow and sarcastic, "You missed a spot. Maybe you're too dumb for real work." She didn't laugh, didn't wink, just walked right by me like I was a piece of dirt. I turned to Melissa, expecting her to say something, to defend me. She didn't. She sighed and said, "Well, maybe you should have checked your lines better." Then I saw it. A trash bag by the front door. My clothes were stuffed in it. My boots were tossed on top like they didn't matter. Like I didn't matter. I didn't say anything. I didn't throw a fit or curse them out. I just nodded, picked up my tool bag and left. I drove to the gas station, sat there in the dark for a while, ate a beef stick and stared at my hands. They were split and raw, dirt under the nails. That's when something snapped in me. It wasn't just the insult. It was everything. All the times she made me feel like less. All the times I let it slide. I went back to the house after midnight. Melissa wasn't there. I packed up everything I needed, my tools, some clothes, Duke's leash. I didn't cry. I didn't even feel angry. I felt nothing. But I didn't leave without doing one thing. I took a folder from my truck. Inside was everything I'd collected over the last few weeks. Screenshots. Photos. Receipts. I'd started watching her after I got suspicious. She kept working late, but I never saw a paycheck. She'd started using new perfume, but only when she was going out with Brooke. I had a friend, Dave, who flips houses. His brother's in IT. They helped me get into Melissa's phone. She was dumb enough to back everything up to the cloud. Texts with Todd. Photos in bed. Messages like, "He's so clueless, it's honestly sad." Or, "I can't wait until he's out of the picture." They used Brooke's house as an excuse to meet. While I was down on my knees installing their fancy floor, Melissa and Todd were upstairs in a hotel room 30 minutes away. There was even a photo of them kissing next to the fireplace, while I was literally working under their feet. I put all of it in the folder, and I left it right on our kitchen table, where she couldn't miss it. Then I left for good. I went to my cousin's place outside Branson. Told no one. Shut off my phone. Took Duke on long walks and let my head clear. On day 3, I got a voicemail from Melissa. Her voice was shaky. "Ron, please, can we talk? I didn't mean to hurt you. I was confused. Day 4? Another one. You don't understand. Todd said he was leaving Brooke. We didn't plan it like this. Day 5, she was pissed. You're such a child. You had no right to go through my phone. You think this makes you a man? You ruined everything. I didn't respond to any of it. But I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. Because Brooke hadn't called. And I made sure she'd get a copy of the folder too. A week after I dropped that folder off at Brooke's house, my phone lit up again. It was her. I didn't answer. Then the text started. Brooke, where are you? We need to talk. Please. Brooke, I can't believe this. You were laying my floor while they were screwing each other. Brooke, do you have any more pictures? I waited 2 days before I called her back. Not because I wanted to talk, but because I wanted to hear how deep it went. When she picked up, her voice was cold and flat. You should have told me sooner. I said, I wanted to make sure you saw it for yourself. She was quiet for a while, then said, he's been cheating for years. I always had a feeling. But with Melissa? That's disgusting. Turns out Todd had a whole other phone. One she didn't know about. She found it hidden in his golf bag the same day I dropped off the folder. There were more messages. More pictures. Not just with Melissa, either. There were 3 other women. One of them was Melissa's coworker. I asked Brooke what she was going to do. She laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. Oh, I'm not done yet. I hired a lawyer. The kids are staying with me. And I told his office about the folder. His boss wasn't happy. She asked if I was staying in town. I said no. I wasn't ready to come back. She said she understood. A few days later, I got another call. This one from Dave, the guy I worked flips with. He said Melissa showed up at his work site, crying and demanding to know where I was. Dave told her I didn't want to be found. She didn't like that. She called my cousin next. Then my mom. Told them I was having a breakdown. Said I was running away from responsibilities. That's when I knew she was panicking. That's when I decided to go back. Not for her. For the last word. When I pulled back into town, the first thing I noticed was the sign outside Todd's dental office. Gone. The windows were dark. I drove by their house. Todd's Tesla wasn't in the driveway. The front yard was overgrown. One of the neighbors told me he'd moved out 2 weeks earlier. Rumor was he'd been reported to the board for unprofessional conduct. They didn't go into details, but it didn't take a genius to figure it out. Brooke filed for divorce and froze the accounts. Took the kids and kicked Todd out. She changed the locks and got a restraining order. She even put up a Ring camera and sent me the footage of Todd trying to sweet-talk his way back in, only to get sprayed with the garden hose by her mom. As for Melissa, I finally saw her again. She showed up at my cousin's house 2 days after I got back. She looked rough. Makeup smudged, hair pulled back like she hadn't slept. She stood on the porch and begged me to talk. I messed up, she said. I was stupid. I thought Todd loved me. I asked, and what do you think now? She looked down. Didn't answer. Then she tried guilt. We were married, Ron. Doesn't that mean anything to you? I stared at her for a long time before I said, it used to. She started crying. Said she had nothing. Todd ghosted her. Brooke hated her. Her own parents were ashamed. You destroyed your own life, I said. I just showed people the truth. Then I closed the door in her face. But that wasn't the end. Because a week later, I got a letter from a lawyer. Melissa was trying to get spousal support. Said I abandoned the marriage and she had no source of income. That's when I decided. If she wanted to play hardball, I'd play too. I took the letter to my lawyer, Jill. She's tough, smart, and doesn't flinch. After she read through it, she looked up and said, she's got no shot, but we'll handle it carefully. We started digging. See, Melissa claimed she had no income. Claimed she was dependent on me. But she forgot something. I had her phone records. I had her text messages bragging about money Todd gave her off the books. I had screenshots of Venmo payments, a few labeled with disgusting little emojis I won't repeat. Even worse for her, Brooke gave me something extra, a shared bank statement Todd forgot to delete. Turns out, Melissa had been accepting payments from him for almost a year. Not just gifts, rent money. Todd was literally paying part of our mortgage while I was out busting my back in the sun. Jill smiled when she saw it. This isn't just a divorce anymore. This is fraud. We countersued. Claimed infidelity, financial misconduct, emotional distress. Jill filed a motion to block any spousal support permanently. Melissa would walk away with nothing. A few days later, I got served. Melissa wasn't backing down. She hired some sleazy guy who looked like he belonged in a TV ad, with fake teeth and too much cologne. He tried to say I emotionally abandoned her by working too much. Said I neglected her needs. Called my work ethic toxic masculinity. I wanted to laugh, but I didn't. I let Jill do her job. Court was set for 3 weeks out. In the meantime, more truth came out. Turns out Todd's affairs weren't just emotional or physical, they were criminal. He was billing insurance companies for procedures he never did. Fake cleanings, made-up fillings. One of the women he was involved with worked in his billing department. The same woman who sent Melissa a voice note saying, "He's just using you. He tells all of us the same lies." Brooke turned that into the dental board. They started an investigation. Melissa's lawyer dropped her 5 days before court. She showed up alone. She looked like a shell. No makeup, hair limp, wearing the same blazer she used to wear to fake work events. I didn't feel sorry for her. Not even a little. In court, Jill laid it all out. The cheating, the money, the lies. She showed the timeline, how Melissa left our shared home the same night I finished Brooke's floor, how she moved in with Todd a day later, then claimed abandonment for spousal support a week after that. The judge didn't even hesitate. Denied her spousal support. Granted me the divorce on grounds of infidelity. Awarded me full rights to the house, which I put up for sale the next day. Melissa didn't even fight it. She just sat there, stunned. But I wasn't done. Because Brooke called me that night. She said, "There's something you should see." She sent me a video clip from a private investigator she'd hired during her custody hearing. In it, Todd and Melissa were sitting in some cheap bar on the edge of town. Melissa was crying. Todd looked pissed. Then, clear as day, you can hear him say, "I never loved you. You were just something to do when Brooke was tired." Melissa slapped him. He laughed in her face. Brooke said she'd been saving that clip in case she needed it for court. But now, she said, "I thought you'd enjoy it more." I did. Still, something didn't sit right. Because the more I looked at everything, the more I realized this wasn't just about a failed marriage or cheating. This was about how far someone will go to destroy you. And how far you can go to take your life back. That's when I came up with the last part of my plan. After the court ruled in my favor and I listed the house, I stayed quiet. Didn't talk to Melissa. Didn't talk to Todd. But behind the scenes, I was setting up the last piece. You see, Todd and Melissa weren't just cheaters. They were arrogant. They thought they were smarter than everyone. Thought no one would touch them. But Melissa made one mistake I hadn't used yet. She wrote things down. When I was still living with her, I once walked into the room and caught her scribbling in a cheap spiral notebook. She said it was a budget journal, something she used to track spending. I barely glanced at it. But weeks later, after I left, I remembered that notebook. So I went back to the house when she wasn't around. It was still technically mine, and she hadn't changed the locks. I searched the closet, under the bed, even inside the vents. Found it, tucked inside a shoebox. A beat-up spiral, full of handwritten notes. Dates, names, hotel names, even lines like, "Todd paid $600 for the cabin in Branson, don't tell Brooke." There were cash transfer logs. Not exact numbers, but enough to match up with Todd's golf weekends. I handed the notebook to Brooke. She gave it to her lawyer. Then the real hammer dropped. Todd was charged with insurance fraud 6 weeks later. 2 of the patients he treated came forward after noticing their insurance bills listed dental work they never had. That led to a full audit. Investigators matched the notebook entries with his fake receipts. Brooke testified in court. Her lawyer used Melissa's own writing as evidence of collusion. Melissa wasn't charged criminally. They couldn't prove she knew the insurance fraud part, but it destroyed whatever little credibility she had left. Todd lost his license. The dental board stripped him of all practice rights in the state. His clinic shut down. He had to sell his Tesla just to pay his lawyer. Meanwhile, Brooke won full custody of the kids. Got the house. Got child support. Todd tried to fight it. Didn't matter. The judge didn't even let him speak during closing. Called him a risk to financial and emotional stability. And Melissa? She tried to move in with her parents, but they wouldn't take her. Said she'd brought shame to the family. Said she made her bed, now she could lie in it. She tried getting a job at a real estate office, but word had spread. Nobody wanted to hire someone caught sleeping with her sister's husband. Last I heard, she was working part-time at a payday loan place on the north side. She drives a beat-up Corolla now. Lives in a rented studio above a nail salon. No friends. No job history she can lean on. No one to lie to anymore. And me? I moved to a small town outside of Joplin. Bought a fixer-upper with the money from the house sale. I still do construction, but only on my terms. I take Duke for walks in the morning. I sit on my porch at night with a cold drink, not thinking about the past. A few months after everything settled, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. It was from Melissa. It said, "You destroyed everything. Are you proud of yourself?" I didn't write back. She was wrong. I didn't destroy anything. She and Todd did that all on their own. I just brought it into the light. 6 months passed. I didn't hear another word from Melissa, but I still saw her name pop up now and then, mostly through people in town. Springfield's not a big place when it comes to gossip. Someone told me she'd started dating a guy who worked at a used car dealership. Didn't last. He found out about her past, cut her off. Another rumor said she tried to reconnect with one of the women Todd cheated with, tried to start some sisterhood of betrayal thing. That died quick too. No one wants to be friends with a walking red flag. Todd? Worse shape than her. He fought the fraud case hard, spent most of his savings trying to stay out of jail. Didn't work. He got sentenced to 18 months and probation. The mugshot made the local news. You can still find it online if you search his full name with the word felony. Brooke sent it to me with one word underneath, closure. She's doing good now. Sold the big house and downsized to something more manageable. Still has the kids full time. She's not dating anyone yet, and I get why. But sometimes we talk, just as friends. She helped me rebuild some of my trust in people. Not everything has to be fake. As for me, I finally started my own company. Just me, a buddy, and my cousin. We do remodels and builds, all word of mouth. No fancy ads. Just real work, done right. I take on the jobs I want. Say no when I feel like it. Duke's older now. Slower, but still follows me everywhere. He was there through it all. Quiet. Loyal. The one constant when everything else was falling apart. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about that day in Brooke's kitchen. Laying that floor while Melissa and Todd were off somewhere, laughing about me. I remember the pain in my knees, the way my hands shook, the trash bag at the door. But I also remember what came after. The quiet piece of truth. The moment I stopped letting people walk over me. Stopped working for the approval of people who thought I was nothing. Stopped making excuses for betrayal. They thought I was weak. Disposable. Some dumb flooring guy who'd never notice. They forgot. When you spend your life building things, you learn how to take them apart. Bit by bit. Piece by piece. And you always start at the foundation. A year after the divorce was finalized, I got an invitation in the mail. No return address. Just my name, and inside, a small card with neat handwriting. 1 year clean slate. Thought you might want to see how it all turned out. B. It was an invitation to Brooke's housewarming party. She'd moved again, smaller place, quieter neighborhood. A nice brick ranch on the edge of town. Nothing flashy. Big backyard. Room for the kids and a garden. I thought about tossing the card. Thought maybe I was better off leaving the whole mess behind. But I went. When I pulled up, the driveway was full. Kids running around, neighbors laughing, a grill going. It was the first time in a long time that I saw Brooke smile without that tired look behind it. She greeted me with a hug, quick, respectful, friendly. Just two people who'd survived the same fire. We stood near the fence, watching the kids play. She handed me a beer and said, "Do you regret any of it?" I shook my head. No. I hate how it happened. But I don't regret seeing the truth. She nodded. Same. Then she looked out toward the yard and said, "You ever think about dating again?" I didn't answer right away. I looked down at my hands. No longer cracked and bleeding. Just steady. Strong. I don't know, I said. But I know I'll never settle again. That part of me's dead. She smiled again. Good. We didn't talk about Todd or Melissa after that. There was no point. Their names didn't matter anymore. They'd already written their story, the one no one wanted to read. The one that ended with them alone, bitter, and forgotten. Me? I got something better. I got my life back. My time. My freedom. My peace. Sometimes revenge is loud. Explosive. But the best kind? It's quiet. It's showing up with nothing to prove. And letting the wreckage speak for itself.